The call came at 2:47 p.m., right in the middle of my biggest presentation of the year. My sister Emma's name flashed across my phone screen, interrupting my carefully rehearsed speech about quarterly projections and market growth. "James, it's an emergency. You need to come home now." Her voice was shaking, that tremor of urgency I'd heard too many times before. I left everything, my laptop still connected to the projector, my notes scattered across the conference table, my career possibly in shambles. I mumbled apologies to the room full of executives and practically ran to my car. The entire drive home, my mind raced through worst-case scenarios. Mom's health had been declining. Dad's heart wasn't great either. Was this it? The emergency we'd all been dreading? I broke several speed limits and made it home in record time. The front door was unlocked. Another bad sign. I burst in, heart pounding, ready for whatever crisis awaited. Except there wasn't one. They were all there: Mom, Dad, Emma, her husband Tom, even my younger brother Mike, gathered around the dining room table. But instead of tears or panic, they were laughing. Scattered across the table were glossy travel brochures, printouts of luxury resorts, and my banking statements. My banking statements. "Oh, good you're here," Emma chirped, not a trace of that emergency tremor in her voice now. "We're planning a family vacation. We figured since your promotion came through, you wouldn't mind sponsoring a little family bonding time." I stood there, frozen in the doorway, trying to process what I was seeing. The presentation I'd just abandoned, the one that could make or break my career, had been about that very promotion. The one I hadn't even officially received yet. "How did you?" I started, but Mom cut me off. "Emma saw the email on your laptop last week when she borrowed it. Isn't it exciting? My baby boy, finally making the big bucks." She beamed at me like I was 10 years old, showing off my first A+ report card. "You went through my emails?" The words came out flat, disbelieving. "Oh, don't be dramatic." Emma waved her hand dismissively. "We're family. Besides, you're always saying we should spend more time together. This is perfect." I looked at the brochures spread across the table. 5-star resorts in the Maldives, luxury cruises in the Mediterranean, exclusive beach villas in Bali. They weren't planning a vacation. They were planning to burn through my entire savings. "I didn't get the promotion yet," I said slowly. "That presentation you just made me leave? That was my pitch for it." "Well, you're sure to get it," Dad chimed in, not even looking up from a brochure advertising private yacht tours. "You always do. You're the reliable one." The reliable one. That's what they always called me. The responsible son. The one who never said no. The one who covered Mom's medical bills when insurance fell short. The one who paid off Emma's credit card debt 3 times. The one who helped Mike with rent every month because he was still finding himself at 32. I was reliable, all right, reliably there whenever they needed money. "I can't afford this," I said, picking up a brochure advertising a $15,000 per person luxury cruise. "Don't be silly," Emma laughed. "We saw your accounts. You have plenty saved up." "That's my emergency fund. My retirement savings, my future." My voice rose slightly, but they weren't even listening. "Family is the future," Mom said, that guilt-triggering tone creeping into her voice. "We never get to spend time together anymore. You're always working, always too busy for us." "Yeah, working to pay for everything you." I stopped myself, taking a deep breath. "This isn't an emergency, Emma." She finally looked up, her face a perfect mask of innocence. "Of course it is. We haven't had a family vacation in years. Our mental health is at stake here." "Mental health?" I laughed, but there was no humor in it. "I just walked out of the biggest presentation of my career because you said there was an emergency." "Oh, that?" She shrugged. "I knew you wouldn't come if I just said we were planning a vacation. So you lied." "I modified the truth to get your attention. There's a difference." I looked around the table. Mom was still beaming. Dad was calculating costs on his phone. Mike was texting someone, probably his latest girlfriend. None of them saw anything wrong with this. To them, this was normal. Using me, lying to me, planning to spend my money without even asking. Just another Tuesday in our family. "No," I said quietly. Emma's head snapped up. "What?" I said no. "I'm not paying for your vacation." The silence that followed was deafening. 5 pairs of eyes stared at me like I'd just spoken in tongues. "But," Mom's lower lip trembled, "we're family." Family doesn't lie to each other. Family doesn't go through each other's private emails. Family doesn't treat someone like their personal bank. You're being selfish, Emma snapped, her sweet demeanor vanishing instantly. You have all this money just sitting there while we never get to have any fun. Never get to have any fun. I picked up one of the brochures. Last month you bought a new car. The month before that, you took a spa weekend with your friends. All with money I lent you, money you never paid back. That's different, she protested. Those were necessities. A $50,000 SUV was a necessity. I have children to think about. Your children who are in college, Emma, both on scholarships I helped them get. Dad finally looked up from his phone. Son, you're making this bigger than it needs to be. We're just talking about one vacation. No, we're not. I pulled out my own phone and opened my banking app. We're talking about patterns, about respect, about boundaries. Oh, here we go with the boundaries again. Mike rolled his eyes. Just because you make more money than us doesn't mean you have to be such a what? I cut him off. Such a responsible adult. Such a reliable provider. Tell me, Mike, how's that startup going? The one I invested in last year? He had the decency to look embarrassed. The startup had failed within 3 months, just like the 5 before it. But not before burning through $50,000 of my money. I'll pay you back, he mumbled. The same promise I'd heard 100 times. No, you won't. I wasn't angry anymore. Just tired. So very tired. None of you will. Because you don't see me as a person. I'm just an ATM to you. A convenient source of cash whenever you want something. That's not true. Mom's eyes welled up with tears. Right on cue. We love you. We're proud of you. You're proud of what I can give you. I looked at Emma. When was the last time you called me just to talk? Not to ask for money or help or favors. She opened her mouth, then closed it again. That's what I thought. I turned to leave, but Emma grabbed my arm. Where are you going? We haven't finished planning. Oh, I'm finished. I pulled my arm free. I'm finished with all of it. I walked out, ignoring their calls, their protests, their guilt trips. In my car, I pulled out my phone again and opened my banking app. With a few quick taps, I transferred everything from my main account, the one they all had access to, into a new private account I'd set up months ago. Just in case. Because deep down, I'd known this day would come. The notifications started immediately. Text messages, calls, voicemails. I turned off my phone and drove to my office. The presentation was long over, but I had damage control to do. My boss was surprisingly understanding when I explained that I'd had a family emergency. Family comes first, she said, nodding sympathetically. We can reschedule for tomorrow. Family comes first. How many times had they used that phrase to manipulate me? To guilt me into giving them whatever they wanted. But as I sat in my quiet office, staring at the city lights below, I realized something. They were right. Family does come first. And it was time I started treating myself like family too. I turned my phone back on. 47 missed calls. 93 text messages. 12 voicemails. I didn't read them. Instead, I opened my email and started typing. Dear Emma, Mom, Dad, and Mike. For years, I've been your safety net. Your emergency fund. Your reliable solution to every financial problem. That ends now. I've transferred my money to a new account. One you don't have access to. I've canceled all the automatic payments I was making for you, all the subscriptions, all the bills, all the loans that we all knew would never be repaid. This isn't about money. It's about respect. About boundaries. About family being more than just a convenient source of cash. When you're ready to have a real relationship, one based on love and mutual respect rather than what I can give you, I'll be here. Until then, I suggest you start planning vacations you can actually afford. James. I hit send, then blocked their numbers. All of them. It wasn't forever. I meant what I said about being there when they were ready for a real relationship. But for now, I needed space. Time to remember who I was beyond being their personal bank. As I packed up my things to head home, my boss stopped by my office. By the way, she said, smiling. That promotion? The board approved it this morning. They were so impressed with your previous work, they didn't even need the presentation. I laughed, actually laughed. The irony was perfect. Thank you, I said. I think I'm going to take a vacation to celebrate. You deserve it, she replied. Where are you thinking of going? I picked up one of the brochures I'd taken from the house. The Maldives looked beautiful this time of year. Somewhere peaceful, I said. Somewhere just for me. The next morning felt different, lighter somehow, like I'd shed a weight I didn't even know I was carrying. My phone, still blocked to their numbers, sat quietly on my nightstand. No early morning emergencies, no urgent requests for small loans. Just peace. But I knew better than to think it would last. They found me at work first. Emma showed up around noon, her eyes red and puffy, clutching a coffee cup like a shield. The receptionist called up, sounding uncertain. "Mr. Walker, your sister is here. She says it's an emergency?" I finished. "Tell her I'm in a meeting." "She's quite insistent." I sighed. "I'm sure she is." Still no. 20 minutes later, my boss appeared in my doorway. "James, there's a woman downstairs causing quite a scene. Says she's your sister." "Let me guess. She's crying and telling everyone what a horrible brother I am." My boss raised an eyebrow. "Actually, she's threatening to call the police." "Something about you stealing her money?" I couldn't help but laugh. "Her money? That's new." I pulled out my phone, scrolled through my email, and showed her the series of transfers Emma had made from my account over the past year. Thousands of dollars, all labeled as emergency loans. "Ah," my boss nodded, understanding dawning on her face. "Family drama?" "More like family detox," I replied. "I'm sorry she's causing trouble." "Don't be. I'll have security escort her out." She paused at the door. "And James, take the rest of the day off. Go book that vacation." I did exactly that. Found a quiet coffee shop, opened my laptop, and started planning my first real vacation in years. One where I wouldn't be paying for everyone else's luxuries or managing their crises from afar. That's when Mike found me. Dude, he dropped into the chair across from me. "What the hell?" I didn't look up from my laptop. "How did you find me?" "Find my iPhone. You're still on the family plan." "Of course. Another bill I paid." "Not anymore," I said, making a mental note to cancel that too. "What do you want, Mike?" "What do I want? Are you serious?" He leaned forward, lowering his voice dramatically. "Emma's a wreck. Mom hasn't stopped crying. Dad's talking about having to sell the house. The house I've been paying the mortgage on for the last 3 years." I finally looked at him. "That house." He had the grace to look uncomfortable. "Look, I get it. You're mad, but this is extreme, man. We're family." Funny how that word only comes up when someone needs money. "That's not fair." "No." I turned my laptop around, showing him my banking records. "Last month you borrowed $2,000 for business expenses. The month before that, it was $3,000 for temporary cash flow issues. Want to go through the whole year?" I said I'd pay you back. "When?" I asked quietly. "With what money?" "The money from your next failed startup. The one you'll want me to invest in." His face flushed red. "At least I'm trying to make something of myself. Not just sitting in some corporate office like what?" "Like someone who can actually pay his own bills." I closed my laptop. "That's the difference between us, Mike. I'm not ashamed of working a regular job, of being responsible, of living within my means." "Oh, so you're better than us now. Is that it?" "No." I stood up, gathering my things. "I'm just done being worse than myself." He grabbed my arm, just like Emma had yesterday. "You can't just walk away." "Actually, I can. And I am." I pulled free. "And Mike, next time you want to track someone's phone, try paying for your own plan first." I left him there, sputtering and angry. By the time I got home, my emails had exploded. Mom had sent 15 messages, each more dramatic than the last. The final one was just a photo of her pretending to faint on the couch, with the caption, "My heart can't take this betrayal." Dad's approach was different. His email was businesslike, listing all the things he'd done for me growing up: school fees, sports equipment, family vacations, all with precise dollar amounts attached. At the bottom, a total figure and the words, "Consider this your invoice for being our son." I replied to that one, "Dear Dad, thanks for the detailed accounting. Here's mine. 3 years of mortgage payments, $86,400. Emma's emergency loans, $124,000. Mike's failed businesses, $203,000. Mom's medical bills, $95,000. Various family loans, $167,000. Total, $675,400. Consider this your invoice for treating your son like an ATM. Pace. I kept all the receipts. I hit send, then went back to planning my vacation. I just booked my flights when someone started pounding on my door. James Alexander Walker, Mom's voice, using my full name like I was still 10 years old. Open this door right now. I didn't move. We know you're in there. Your car is outside. Dad's voice joined in. Son, don't make this worse than it needs to be. I walked to the door but didn't open it. I'm not the one making scenes in public. Scenes? Mom's voice rose higher. You want to talk about scenes? You humiliated your sister at your workplace. No, she humiliated herself. I just wasn't there to clean up after her this time. Is this how we raised you? Dad demanded. To turn your back on family. You raised me to be responsible. I replied. To work hard, to stand on my own feet. Maybe it's time you all tried doing the same. We're not leaving until you open this door. I pulled out my phone. Okay, I'll call the police and have you removed. Your choice. There was a long pause. Then Mom's voice, softer now tearful. Jimmy, please. We need you. No, I said firmly. You need my money. There's a difference. How are we supposed to pay our bills? Dad's voice had an edge of panic now. The same way everyone else does, with their own money. But, goodbye, I cut them off. I have a vacation to plan. I heard them arguing outside for another 10 minutes before they finally left. As their voices faded, I felt something unexpected, pride. Not in hurting them, but in finally standing up for myself. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number, Emma, using her husband's phone. Hope you're happy. Mom's in tears, Dad's talking about bankruptcy, and Mike's drinking again. All because you're too selfish to help your own family. We don't need your money anyway. We'll figure it out ourselves. I screenshotted the message and saved it. Something told me I'd want to remember those words later. Then I went back to my vacation planning. The Maldives resort had an opening for next week. Perfect timing. As I booked my villa, just one just for me, I realized something. For the first time in years, I was spending money on myself without feeling guilty. The next morning, I woke up to an email from my bank. Someone had tried to access my old account multiple times overnight. The IP address traced back to Emma's house. Some habits die hard, I guess. At work, my boss called me into her office. Just wanted to let you know, your sister tried to contact some of our clients yesterday. Told them some interesting stories about you. My stomach dropped. I'm so sorry. She held up a hand. Already handled. We've dealt with family disputes before. But James, she leaned forward. Whatever's going on, handle it. You're too valuable to this company to let family drama affect your work. I nodded, grateful but embarrassed. It's being handled. And thank you for understanding. Don't thank me yet, she smiled. That promotion comes with higher expectations. Back at my desk, I found an envelope. Inside was a single photo, me and Emma as kids, building sandcastles on some long-ago beach vacation. On the back, in Mom's handwriting, remember when family meant something to you? I did remember. I remembered being the one building the castle while Emma knocked it down. I remembered being told to let her win at games, to share my toys, to give up my savings for her dance lessons. I remembered learning early that my role in a family was to give, never to receive. I took the photo, turned it over, and wrote my response. I remember everything. That's why things have to change. I sealed it in a new envelope and had it delivered to their house. Then I confirmed my vacation booking, set my email to auto-reply, and started packing. 1 week in the Maldives, just me, the ocean, and absolutely no family emergencies. As I packed, I found myself humming. Actually humming. When was the last time I felt this? Free? My phone buzzed one last time. Mike, using yet another unknown number. Dad's talking about selling his car. Mom can't stop crying. Emma's husband is threatening to leave her because of the financial stress. Hope you're proud of yourself. I typed back a single line. I am. Then I blocked that number too and went back to packing. Sometimes being reliable means being reliable to yourself first. And I was just getting started. Paradise looked exactly like the brochures promised. Crystal clear waters. pristine white beaches, and, most importantly, absolute tranquility. No family drama could reach me here, 8,000 miles from home. Or so I thought. 3 days into my vacation, while I was sipping a cocktail by the infinity pool, my hotel room phone rang. The front desk's voice was apologetic. "Mr. Walker, I'm sorry to disturb you, but we have a rather urgent situation. Your sister is on the international line, claiming there's been a death in the family." My heart stopped for a moment before logic kicked in. If someone had actually died, they wouldn't be calling the hotel. They'd have contacted my company, my neighbors, anyone who might really know how to reach me. "Let me guess," I said, keeping my voice calm. "She says it's Mom." The receptionist paused. "Yes, actually. She's quite distraught. My mother is fine. She pulled the same stunt at Christmas when I wouldn't buy her a new car." I sighed. "Please block any calls from my family unless they come through my company's HR department." "Of course, sir." I went back to my cocktail, but the peace was disturbed now. I pulled out my tablet and, against my better judgment, checked my email. The subject lines told the whole story. From Emma, "Mom's in the hospital. Your fault." From Dad, "Your mother's condition is critical." From Mike, "How could you do this to Mom?" I opened Emma's email first. "Mom had a panic attack thinking about losing her house because you cut us off. She's in the ER right now. The doctors say it's stress-induced. Are you happy now? Is your precious vacation worth your mother's life?" Attached was a photo of Mom in a hospital bed, looking dramatically forlorn. But I noticed something. The hospital room was actually our guest bedroom, staged with a white sheet and Mom's old heart monitor from her brief health kick last year. I replied to all. "Nice try with the guest bedroom photo shoot. Next time, remember to remove Dad's golf trophies from the background shelf. Also, that heart monitor's battery light is clearly off in the photo. P.S. I called the local hospitals. No record of Mom being admitted. Enjoy your performance. I'll be enjoying my real vacation." Within minutes, my phone exploded with messages. I ignored them all and ordered another cocktail. That evening, I got an unexpected call from Tom, Emma's husband. "James, don't hang up. I'm not calling about money." I waited. I need to understand something. How long have they been doing this to you?" The question caught me off guard. "Doing what?" "Using you. Manipulating you." Emma's been crying for days about losing her support system, but I finally looked at our accounts. "Do you know how much money you've given us over the years?" $124,000, I said without hesitation. "Just to you and Emma, not counting the kids' college funds." The silence on the other end was heavy. "Jesus," he finally whispered. "I knew we borrowed sometimes, but she always said it was just small amounts." "That you offered?" "Let me guess. She handled all the financial discussions with me." "Yeah." His voice was quiet. "James, I'm sorry. I had no idea." "Now you do." "Yeah." He paused. "We're in counseling now. Emma, she's not handling any of this well. But maybe that's the point." "It is," I confirmed. They needed this wake-up call. All of them. "Listen," he said, "I know it's not my place, but don't give in. Even when they pull stunts like today's fake hospital drama. They need to learn." "Thanks, Tom." I meant it. "Take care of yourself, too." After hanging up, I walked down to the beach. The sun was setting, painting the sky in brilliant oranges and pinks. I took a photo but didn't share it to any family groups. This moment was just for me. Back in my villa, I found an email from my boss. "James, your family contacted the board of directors. Something about you stealing their inheritance and abandoning your sick mother. Don't worry, we've dealt with it. Your position is secure, but they're escalating. Might want to think about legal protection when you get back. Enjoy the rest of your vacation. You've earned it. Sarah." She was right. They were escalating. The fake hospital stunt was just the beginning. I'd seen this pattern before. When they couldn't control you with guilt, they tried fear. When fear didn't work, they turned to threats. I called my lawyer and set up a meeting for when I returned. Then I did something I should have done years ago. I started documenting everything. Every manipulative message, every financial transaction, every lie they'd told to get money from me. The pattern was shocking when laid out chronologically. The emergencies that weren't emergencies. The loans that were never meant to be repaid. The constant emotional blackmail. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Mike again. Found out how much you're spending on that resort. Real nice knowing you're living it up while your family suffers. Real nice. I did the math quickly in my head. My entire week-long luxury vacation cost less than what Mike had borrowed for his last failed business venture. I texted back. The difference is, I'm spending my own money. Then I turned off my phone completely. The documentation could wait. The legal preparations could wait. Right now, I had a sunset to watch, a peace to maintain, and absolutely no emergencies to handle. As I sat on my private deck that evening, watching the stars emerge over the Indian Ocean, I realized something profound. The guilt I'd been expecting, the guilt they trained me to feel whenever I put myself first, wasn't there. In its place was something new, something that felt a lot like freedom. I picked up my room's phone and called the front desk. Yes, Mr. Walker. I'd like to extend my stay. Another week, if possible. Of course, sir, same villa. Actually, I smiled, looking at the overwater bungalows further out on the lagoon. I'd like to upgrade. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't just living well, it's living exactly as you choose. And I was finally choosing myself. 2 weeks of paradise ended exactly as they should, with clarity. By the time my plane touched down back home, I was different. Not just tanned and rested, but fundamentally changed. The man who'd left, desperately seeking escape, was not the same one who returned with purpose. I hadn't checked my emails or messages in days, but I knew what awaited me. The tsunami of family drama would be epic, but I was ready. My lawyer met me at his office straight from the airport. The stack of papers on his desk told me everything I needed to know. They've been busy, he said, not bothering with pleasantries. Your sister tried to file a fraud claim against you. Your father attempted to add his name to your accounts using an old power of attorney from when you were in college. And your mother? He actually smiled. Your mother tried to declare you mentally incompetent. I wasn't even surprised. And they failed, spectacularly. He pushed a document toward me. But we need to make sure they can't try again. Sign here. The restraining order felt heavy in my hands. Not because I doubted it, but because it represented an ending I'd never imagined needing. All of them, I asked. All of them, 3 months minimum. Gives us time to untangle any remaining financial connections and set up proper legal boundaries. I signed. Walking into my apartment afterward felt strange. Everything was exactly as I'd left it, but I wasn't. There was a pile of mail by the door. Actual paper mail, their last resort when digital communication failed. I opened them one by one. Mom's letter was 20 pages of guilt, ending with a promise to disown me if I didn't come to my senses. Dad's was a single page of legal threats. Emma's was a greeting card with a family photo on the front. Inside, she'd written, "Is your vacation worth losing all this?" I took the photo out and studied it. It was from last Christmas, me in the background, checkbook in hand, while they all opened the expensive gifts I bought. The perfect metaphor. My phone rang. It was my boss. "Welcome back," she said. "Ready for some good news?" "Always." The board was impressed with how you handled the family situation. Shows strong boundaries and leadership potential. They want to fast-track your promotion to senior VP. I sat down, stunned. What? Turns out watching someone handle personal crisis with professionalism and grace is better than any interview process. You start next month. Higher salary, better benefits, and a corner office. Thank you, I managed. Don't thank me. You earned this. Oh, and James? Your sister's been calling again. Let me guess. Emergency? No, actually. She wants to invest in the company. Says she's family, so she should get preferential stock options. I laughed. Actually laughed. Some things never change. No, my boss agreed. But you have. That evening, I sat down at my computer and wrote one final email. Dear family, by now you've received the legal notices. Don't bother fighting them. Instead, consider this an opportunity to learn independence, an opportunity to grow up, an opportunity to become the people you could have been if you hadn't used me as your crutch. The money is gone. The support is gone. The guilt trips won't work anymore. But here's what remains. When you're ready to have a real relationship, one based on love rather than financial obligation, I'll be here. When you're ready to see me as a person rather than a bank account, we can talk. Until then, Consider this your chance to discover who you are without my money to define you. I love you all enough to let you fail, because sometimes failing is the only way to learn how to stand. James. I hit send, then opened my new vacation photos, the sunsets, the empty beaches, the quiet moments that were purely mine. I picked my favorite, me swimming in the crystal clear water, truly free for the first time, and had it framed. It now hangs in my office, a reminder of the day I chose myself. The family's response to the restraining order and my email was predictable. More threats, more guilt, more attempts to break through my boundaries. But each attempt hit a wall of legal steel and my own newfound strength. Weeks passed, then months. I heard through mutual friends that changes were happening. Mike finally got a real job. Emma and Tom were in marriage counseling, dealing with her spending issues. Dad had to downsize to a smaller house. Mom was still playing the victim, but at least she was doing it without my money. Yesterday, I received a small package. Inside was the old photo of Emma and me building sandcastles. But this time, the note on the back was different. In Tom's handwriting. Emma's in therapy, real therapy. She's beginning to understand what she did. What they all did. It's a start. Thank you for being strong enough to force this change. Tom. I placed the photo in my desk drawer. Not displayed, not thrown away. Just waiting. Because sometimes the happy ending isn't about grand reconciliations or dramatic forgiveness. Sometimes it's about finding peace in the quiet moments, strength in the boundaries, and hope in the small steps toward change. I looked at my calendar, another vacation planned, this time to the Greek islands. Just me, making my own choices, living my own life. And for the first time, that felt exactly right.